Armenia stands as the world's first Christian nation, and today, one of the most threatened. In 2023, Azeri forces overran its region of Nagorno-Karabakh, forcing more than 120,000 ethnic Armenians to flee their homes. Now religious freedom advocates are calling for action.
There's still so much that needs to be done to advocate for all the Christians that were eradicated and ethnically cleansed from their heritage homeland back in 2023.
Armenia is surrounded by Turkey to the west, Iran to the south, and an increasingly aggressive Azeri military to the east. The country has become isolated, vulnerable, and abandoned by longtime allies like Russia, which is focused on the war in Ukraine.
This is a Christian nation that's surrounded by nations that hate it. And as a result, you have a massive ethnic cleansing that's happened that just didn't make news in the United States. We've got brothers and sisters over here we need to be defending. We've got free countries over here that love America we need to be defending. But we've also got a historical connection to this country that needs to be known by all Americans.
President Trump is stepping into this geopolitical vacuum. He's invited both Azeri President Ilham Aliyev and Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan to Washington for what could be a historic summit with a potential peace agreement on the table. Everywhere you go in Armenia, you're surrounded by this rich Christian heritage that goes back 1,700 years. And for many Armenians, that heritage is now under threat, not just from countries like Azerbaijan and Turkey, but also from the silence of the international community. So that's why this week's Washington summit is so important, because if they bring a peace deal out of that, it could change everything. And if not, the Armenians may have to go it alone. Ahead of the summit, a delegation of American faith leaders and philanthropists traveled to Armenia for a closer look at the situation. They met with displaced families, local officials, and clergy, seeing both the pain of the past and the urgency of the present.
We're here to hear the stories of the survivors. We're here to meet with leaders and understand the geopolitical situation and see how we can pray with them, how we can stand with them, and how our different organizations could all play a role to help Armenia stand up against all the threats it faces.
They see Armenia as not just a humanitarian cause, but a strategic one. The country is a pro-Western ally in a region dominated by authoritarian regimes. And with Russia stepping back, the U.S. has a narrow window to fill the gap.
The Soviet Union has pretty much defended these people. Now they've backed off from them because they're showing inclinations to move to the West. And so they're really an orphan out here waiting for somebody to pick them up, and America should be the one doing that.
Stakes are high, not just for Armenia's sovereignty, but for preserving one of the last Christian havens in the region. Delegates call this a moment for America to act.
We need to stand up for the nation, the first Christian nation in the world, and we need to make sure that the Christians' heritage and their lands that go thousands of years back with cultural heritage sites, we need to make sure that this is preserved and that this stays the light in the region.
Details are sketchy on the proposed peace deal or even whether it will be successful. But for Armenians, many still displaced, grieving, and fearful, there's a glimmer of hope that the world might finally pay attention.